At least 8 people killed in Russian airstrikes in Ukraine's second largest city, Kharkiv. Calls for accountability after Israel describes the deadly strikes on an aid worker convoy in Gaza as a mistake. Ukraine's second biggest city, Kharkiv, came under Russian attack early Saturday. Local authorities say airstrikes killed 8 people and injured at least 11 more. The rockets damaged residential buildings, a kindergarten, shops, and cars. In Odessa, officials say a Russian missile hit a utility facility, killing a civilian worker. Ukraine's southern regions, including the port city of Odessa, are often targeted by Russian missile and drone attacks. In a show of continuing support, Germany's Chancellor announced the allocation of 28 billion euros for Ukraine's military during a visit to the Romanian capital, Bucharest. Olaf Scholz says bolstering Ukrainian defences will prevent the war from escalating. Meanwhile, Russia has released video of fighter jets said to be targeting northern Donetsk. Moscow also called for an attack on a military facility near Ukraine to be investigated. As pressure mounts on Israel to take responsibility for killing 7 charity workers earlier this week, war-torn Gaza is on the brink of famine. The warning comes from the World Food Programme, which says malnutrition among children is spreading at a record pace. Many in the north of the Strip are facing catastrophic hunger. The World Central Kitchen team, killed by Israeli forces, had been working to prevent that from happening. Israel's military says the attack was a mistake. Australia is demanding full accountability.
We have made clear, after we were verbally briefed, that we have not yet received sufficient information to satisfy our expectations. The Deputy Prime Minister and I wrote to our counterparts overnight to reiterate Australia's expectations.
Israel has dismissed 2 senior officers after a military inquiry into the drone strikes. The World Central Kitchen is calling for an independent investigation. As US aid drops over Gaza continue, charity groups are calling for easier and safer ground access. People in Slovakia are casting their ballots in the second round of the presidential election. Who wins will determine whether the country leans towards Russia or the European Union. The contenders include former Foreign Minister Ivan Horkok and Peter Pellegrini, who's backed by Prime Minister Robert Fico.
Slovakia passed through very turbulent development, and people are expressing their views about the general development in the country, but also it's kind of plebiscite about destiny of liberal democracy in Slovakia and the future foreign policy orientation.
Attila Mogya has more from the capital, Bratislava.
A mostani választáson nem csak arról döntenek Szlovákiában, hogy ki legyen az ország köztársasági elnöke a következő 5 évben, hanem ítéletet mondanak Robert Fico politikájáról és az elmúlt fél év kormányzásáról is. Iván Korcsok győzelme esetén várhatóan a mostani oroszbarát politika ellensúlyozására lehet számítani. Abban az esetben viszont, hogyha Péter Pellegrini nyer, ez várhatóan nem történik majd meg. Magyar Attila, Euronews, Pozsony.
Police in The Hague have disrupted an Extinction Rebellion protest. Climate activists, including Sweden's Greta Thunberg, blocked part of a road to demonstrate against Dutch subsidies and tax relief for companies linked to fossil fuel industries. Police say Thunberg is one of 400 people detained. Most are accused of participating in a banned protest. The 21-year-old has been repeatedly fined in Sweden and the UK for civil disobedience in connection with climate protests.
Some 11,000 people have had to be evacuated after a dam broke in the Russian city of Orsk, which has a population of 190,000 people on the border with Kazakhstan. A Russian earth dam intended to protect the city from spring flooding could not cope with the amount and cracked in 2 places, endangering much of the city of Orsk. According to local authorities, more than 4,000 buildings are at risk.